Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Jamie Hughes Show. My name as always is Jamie Hughes and today I'm going to be giving you my review of Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 7, which was entitled The Dragon and the Wolf. It was the season finale, and if you want to keep up to date with all my latest reviews and all of my Game of Thrones reviews, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always in my videos, this review may include spoilers, so you have now been warned. Okay, so let's start off this review where we started in this episode, and that was obviously the meeting between basically every single major player in Westeros at this moment in time. The meeting was set up by Daenerys and Jon so they could go to King's Landing and show Cersei the real threat and the war that they should be fighting, which is obviously against the White Walkers and not against each other. And I really enjoyed the whole dynamic of the scene. We had a great little scene opener between the Cleganes. The Cleganes finally faced off, in a sense, and the Hound said to the Mountain, this is not how it ends for you. You know who's coming for you. And that was a really cool scene because it was a little bit ambiguous. I was trying to rack my brains as to what that was going on about. And the only thing I could really think of is maybe Arya. Because the Hound obviously knows that Arya is still alive. And that was the only thing I could think of, maybe, is that it's surrounded by Arya, because obviously the Hound knows everything that the Mountain has done to Arya. So maybe it's Arya setting to seek her revenge, but I'd love to know what you guys thought down in the comments below about that one, because it was very ambiguous to start the episode. So then we got into the whole meat and potatoes of what the meeting was about. They set the White Walker loose. It went straight for Cersei, and Cersei kind of realised what they actually should be fighting against. So she set up a treaty and a truce. There we go. Got there in the end. Set up a truce between Daenerys and herself. She said that they would stop the fighting and they would help them fight the White Walkers if Jon, after all this has happened, Jon stays away. He stays in the King of the North. He stays the self-proclaimed King of the North and has nothing to do with either queen, which I really liked because it was just it was classic Cersei. She realised that she needs to help these people because the White Walkers are coming and they can't do it on their own. No matter how many dragons or Dothraki you've got, you need everybody fighting. But she was also smart enough to try and get something out of it for herself. That backfired because Jon then declared to everybody that he is bent the knee and there is only one queen for him, and that is Queen Daenerys Stormborn. So that was really cool because then Cersei was like, do you know what? If you don't want my help, then bollocks to you, basically. Basically, I'm done with you. This meeting is over. And yeah, it doesn't really matter. I don't care. Go and fight your own battle and go and die, and I'll just sit down here and wait for death to come for me, maybe. And I really enjoyed that Cersei just had this really nonchalant attitude towards the White Walkers, Jon and Daenerys and Tyrion. And then that obviously led on to the scene where Tyrion persuaded Daenerys and Jon to let him go and face Cersei alone. I really love this scene. This was classic Game of Thrones, great storytelling. You don't need a huge battle to have an impact, and I think this was one of the best created and well crafted scenes from the whole season, to be honest with you. For the face-off and the standoff between Cersei and Tyrion was brilliant. You had the mountain looming in the background the whole time, and it was really nice to see because it was like it threw up a lot of doubt because Cersei at the end of the day wants Tyrion dead. As he said and as she said, if it wasn't for him, they'd still have a mother, they'd still have a father, she would still have her two children. Maybe not so much Joffrey because he was a bit of a dick and somebody was going to kill him at some point. But it was really great to see kind of Tyrion getting the best of Cersei and Cersei getting the best of Tyrion. He called her bluff by saying, just kill me. Just do it, like I've got nothing else to fight for. He basically, he's gonna die anyway, fighting the White Walkers. He's not a warrior, he's not a soldier, but he's gonna do his damn best and he's gonna put his life on the line for what he believes, and that is obviously he believes that Daenerys is the best woman for the job. And he got to Cersei, I think. What I like about that is that he kind of got to Cersei and it kind of affected Cersei, and Cersei kind of showed a bit of a human side. She, you know, she showed her weaknesses. She showed that she still grieves for her children and her father, and she's looking to protect the only thing that she basically cares about now, which is her baby, which Tyrion twigged onto, which then led on to Daenerys and Tyrion and Cersei meeting up again, and Cersei saying basically, I'm going to withdraw my armies. I'm not going to withdraw my army, sorry. They are going to come to the wall, and they're going to come to the north of you, and they're going to fight alongside you. I don't want anything in return. And have what that with you will. Obviously, we know this was all a ruse, as what is to come later on in the episode, but I'll get onto that as we get to that. We moved on, we went back to Dragonstone, and again, this was my favourite bit of this episode. Every little bit got better and better for me, but one of my favourite moments, I mentioned it in one of my very early episodes of this season review, and that was this whole redemption of Theon Greyjoy. I felt like we were finally getting somewhere with it, and then when Yara got captured, he jumped in the sea, and he'd lost any sort of sense of credibility. And that really annoyed me, because I felt like we were slowly building back up Theon, and they just kind of let all that slip away. But not in this episode, because he had a really nice heart-to-heart with Jon, where Jon said, you know, the things that you've done, I can't forgive you for all of them, but for the things that I can, I do. So that was kind of like, it brought a sort of a humility back to Theon, because he has been this empty shell of a person, and people have taken advantage of him and mistreated him, but Jon actually treated him like a human. And I think that's what the interaction that Theon needed to sort of light a fire back under his belly, and he's realised, you know, the only person he has got in this world is Yara. I know there was a really sweet scene where Jon was like, you're a Stark and a Greyjoy, and, you know, he's helped the Starks, he rescued Sansa, so now he needs to do the same for his sister. We got a really cool scene where Theon went out and tried to rally the Ironborn. He got beat up. The guy tried to kick him in the nuts. As we all know, Theon has no nuts, so Theon just started knocking 7 bells out of him. A really cool scene, and I loved all of this, because it now feels like we have somewhat of the old Theon Greyjoy back. He is a character that is not to be messed with once again, and I can't wait to see where his story goes leading on to season 8, because he has now left Dragonstone and he is on his way to chase down Euron and get his sister back, which probably means he's going to die in the very first episode of season 8, where he tries to rescue her and dies. But that doesn't matter, because we got a great bit of fan service by having Theon redeem himself for all of his wrongs in this episode. I'm going to skip over a few bits here, but oh my god, we moved to Winterfell, and George R.R. Martin, D&B have been playing us this whole season. I've said it in every review. I have felt like this Sansa and Arya fake jealousy storyline has been utter hogwash. It's just been, they've been making tension for the sake of making tension. It's been fake tension. I've not enjoyed it one little bit, and then they go and twist it around on us. Oh, and Peter Baelish got played like a fiddle, son. The Stark girls were working together. Obviously, I think Arya had clocked on a long time ago. It may have taken a little bit longer for Sansa to catch up, but they realised what Baelish was doing, what he had been doing since the very first episode of Game of Thrones. He'd been playing them all, and the player finally got played, and there was that moment where Sansa and Arya, then Arya's like, get on with it, and Sansa goes, you are hereby like being served on trial for murder and treason. How do you plead? And then she goes, Peter Baelish, and it was just like, oh my god, they've got him, they've played him. And I really applaud Game of Thrones for doing this, because they took a storyline and an angle that I don't think a lot of people were invested in, but you've just made everybody invested in by bringing those twists and turns that nobody truly expects. I know I had a really out there theory on it, but in no way did I see that coming. I didn't think Sansa had it in her, and it was great. It was a really great bit of character development from both girls, and story development, because now people are going to be interested in what Sansa and Arya do in season 8 as they are controlling Winterfell. Almost, it feels like as equals towards the end of this episode, where, you know, I know there was the nice little scene where she was like, you know, do you want to be Lady Winterfell? And she's like, well, no, I'm more of a fighter, basically. But they can work together now and they can build Winterfell back up and really make it a powerhouse as they go forward within the Great War between the living and the dead. Absolutely loved this scene and sequence. And Peter Baelish is dead! Yes! So cool. In the throat. We stuck in Winterfell. Sam finally got to Winterfell, and then we had the most significant Game of Thrones scene ever, I think, where everything that we kind of known about Jon's parentage has all come together in a really, really nice way, where Bran finally in this episode, he came good in the Peter Baelish scene, but again, he's actually using his three-eyed raven powers for good and actually using it to advance the story, because he finally told us about Lyanna and Rhaegon Targaryen, because he said that he was a bastard that was born in Dawn, and his name was Jon Sand, because that's they don't use snow, they use sand over there. And then it came to the attention of Sam, who we kind of had a flitter of it, where Gilly was reading it in the a couple of episodes ago. She was reading that one of the maesters had annulled one of Rhaegar's wedding, and it was just a total game changer, because now it turns out that everything that we've known about the Game of Thrones is wrong, and it's just mind-blowing. It's really hard to process. You know, it's 7 seasons, it's like 8 years or whatever the show's been on TV, 6-7 years, and we finally have everything we know is wrong, and we finally have a new course. We have a new heading where Jon is a Targaryen. His name is Aegon Targaryen. I think they said Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. Rhaegar Targaryen, they were actually married in holy matrimony. I am his, he is she, all of that jazz. They are together. Bran has seen this, it's been confirmed, and Jon is not Jon Snow, he is Aegon Targaryen. He is the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, and this is a total game changer going forward in Season 8. It's been kind of confirmed for a while, so it didn't seem huge, because, you know, we obviously knew. There was a flashback a couple of seasons ago with Bran where he saw Lyanna Stark giving birth, so we kind of knew there was something there. And then obviously the point with Sam and Gilly the other week, it's all been leading to that, and we've kind of known for a while, but now it's been said and it's official that Jon is an official Targaryen and he is the true ruler of the Iron Throne. It's just so awesome going forward about what is going to happen, and I can't believe I nearly forgot this, but as all this was happening, as all of these scenes were unfolding and we were getting all of this great stuff from Bran telling us who Jon Snow is, he's on the boat somewhere, slipping himself into Daenerys Targaryen, who is his auntie. I know nothing goes and everything goes in the Game of Thrones. They don't know that they're related, but how is that going to impact their relationship going forward? When are they going to find out this information? You know, they could plan to get married. They could get married before they find out this information. We don't know, and that's what makes this so intriguing. It's an absolute game changer. It changes the whole story of Game of Thrones, basically, because of what we all thought Robert Baratheon had gone there because Rhaegar had capped Lyanna Stark and tried to capture her and tried to rape her and force her into a marriage, where that wasn't the case. They were in love, they ran away together, they had a little baby who we thought was a bastard. It's not, it's Jon Targaryen, Aegon Snow, I don't even know anymore, but it's just a great bit of storytelling. It has changed the whole Game of Thrones. I feel like I'm repeating myself a bit here, but you know, it's just a massive point. It's a massive story opener. It's just gonna blow this story wide open in Season 8. Jon and Daenerys are doing the do. So where's that gonna lead? Is she gonna get pregnant? It's like an episode of Jeremy Kyle. It's like Westerosi Jeremy Kyle in Season 8. We don't know what's gonna happen. It's so exciting, and I'd like to know where you think it's gonna go down in the comments below. What are your predictions for Game of Thrones Season 8? I can't wait to see where this story with Dany and Jon progresses. Just one more time to squeeze that in. And just before I go, I thought we couldn't get any more bombshells, and then I thought it was going to finish. I thought that was it. We were going to find out who Jon really was, but no, we get a nice little extra scene at the end where Beric Dane, I could never pronounce his name, but you know what I mean. Beric, the guy with the flaming sword, and Tortmund are at Eastwatch. They're looking out. They see one of the White Walkers. They're like, okay, this is not good. You know, they're all lining up, and they stop and wait, and you're wondering what's going to happen here. Because I'd forgot about this little plot point. The fact that they now have an ice dragon that has been confirmed. The Night King is a dragon rider, and he has completely destroyed the wall at Eastwatch. I don't know what happened to Beric or Tortmund. Are they still alive? I hope they are. I love those guys. I don't want them to die in that way. But the White Walkers are through the wall and they are in Westeros. And it was just, my jaw was agape. I was sat there, my jaw was agape. I didn't know what was going on. Well, I obviously knew what was going on, but I can't believe that they've ended it like this. We've had 3 massive points in this season finale, and it's just blown open by that last one. Is the fact that they've been building to this moment, and it's finally happened, and we know that season 8 is going to be all about the Great War. What an amazing, really, really great season finale, and to end it on that cliffhanger of, oh my god, the Night King has a dragon that breathes ice, it can destroy ice. You've got all of the White Walkers making their way down to Westeros. We don't know what's going to happen in season 8. It's just a very, very exciting time to be a Game of Thrones fan. And I tell you what I really enjoyed about this episode before I go, is that so much stuff has happened, but it was all very well done within character, if that makes any sort of sense. There wasn't any big, huge, epic scenes. They were all quite small scenes, within a sense small scenes, but they had so much impact on the story, and I really thought it was great. For this season has got a bit of flack from a few people saying, you know, it's been a bit too rushed, there's been too many battles or whatever. I've enjoyed all of that. I've enjoyed the season immensely. So I think to have a season finale like that, where it's all a little bit stripped back and it's just building the story up for season 8, but having so much impact in the present, was brilliant. I'm going to end this review here. Sorry it's a bit longer than normal, but there was just so much to talk about on the Game of Thrones, and let me know what you thought of Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 7, The Dragon and the Wolf, down in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on the Season 7 as a whole, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, why not give it a subscribe, because there's loads of awesome new content coming every week. I want to give it a like button as well, because it lets me know that you've enjoyed my Game of Thrones reviews, and I will see you in the very next episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. I will see you in the very next episode of the Game of Thrones review, which may be like 2019, but who cares? What a season. I'll see you soon. Ta-ra.